Welcome to Baha'i Critic. Today we'll talk about infantilization. There are a few points I would like to establish first. 1. The Baha'i dispensation began in October 1852. The dispensation of the Bab ended between August and December 1852. This other quote specifies the date to October 1852. Second, the Baha'i dispensation will last at least 1,000 years. The dispensation of Baha'u'llah will last no less than 1,000 years. Third, the Baha'i dispensation and its calculation. According to Baha'u'llah, each year consisting of 12 months according to the Quran, and of 19 months of 19 days each according to the Bayan. The Bayani year consists of 19 months, and each month 19 days, so a total of 361 days. There is no Ayyam-e-Ha or intercalary days, so 1,000 Bayani years will equal 361,000 days, divided by the total number of days in a solar year, which means that 1,000 Bayani years equals 988 solar years. Up to date, until now, 165 years have passed. And if you divide it by 988, which means that 17% of the Baha'i dispensation has been completed thus far. The Quranic year consists of 12 months, and each month 29 to 30 days. So 1,000 Quranic years will equal this number, and again divided by the total number of days in a solar year, which means 1,000 Quranic years equal 970 solar years. And again, do the same calculation, you get the same number. 17% of the Baha'i dispensation has been completed thus far. So looking back at our quote, on the first half of the statement, each year consisting of 12 months according to the Quran, we're dealing with 970 solar years. And in the latter half of the statement, we're dealing with 988 solar years, which means there's a difference between 18 years. Now, according to the World Health Organization, in 2015, 71.4 years was the average life expectancy on Earth. And again, we completed 165 years thus far in this dispensation, divided by 988. And if you do the calculation, which means that the Baha'i Faith is akin to a 12-year-old. And even if you change a number to the Quranic value, you get the same result, same answer. Now, since we completed 17% of the Baha'i dispensation, and if the Baha'i Faith will last 1,000 years, that means the Baha'i Faith is akin to a 12-year-old. So, why are we talking about infantilization? Well, if you're a Baha'i or you're familiar with the Baha'i Faith, you'll know that they repeatedly refer to the faith in its infancy. And there are two reasons for this. To non-Baha'is, it serves to decrease expectation, because you have less expectation for a child than an adult. Hence, you will have less expectation for the Baha'i Faith than for Islam, for example. And this less expectation translates to less accountability. So as an example, when you do criticize the faith, Baha'is often respond by saying that the faith is in its infancy. But you wouldn't accept this excuse if you hear it from a Jehovah's Witness or Mormon, even though both are 19th century religious movements, new religious movements. And the second function it serves is that to Baha'is, it increases their perception of vulnerability. Because a child is more vulnerable than an adult. Hence, the Baha'i Faith is more vulnerable than, say, Christianity, for example. And this increased vulnerability or perception of vulnerability translates to increased control. So there are two benefits. The reason the Baha'i Faith constantly refers to itself as an infant is for non-Baha'is, it decreases their accountability. It wants to decrease accountability in the eyes of non-Baha'is. And to Baha'is, to their own members, they want to increase control. So here's an example when it comes to the publication review, or what's better known as censorship. The Baha'is are obligated to have all their publications and translations, anything that pertains to the faith, even if it's a fictional novel, it must be approved by a committee. And the reasoning is simple. The cause is still in its infancy. And there are so many passages from Shoghi Effendi we constantly refers to the cause in a state of infancy. And he didn't live that long ago. See, plenty of examples. Even the Universal House of Justice, no more than 30 years ago, used the same point. The faith is as yet in its infancy. Great. Well, let me know what you think.